Habari Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live.
Habari Live.
From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast, the show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Aisha, Jimmy, and Damon Dipleen Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
Yes. Good morning, man. Another episode of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the news and more. Habari Ghani, my people, we are thrilled to bring you the latest edition of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the Post of Phoenix and beyond. Like always, we are all the way live in Paradise Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. I am Damon Dipleen Ellison and my co-host,
Aisha.
We will be your go-through guide for the exciting stories and everyday happenings in our vibrant community, your weekly dose of inspiration, innovation, and insightful conversations from the heart of our city. So, let's get it going. Yeah, so like always, man, you're listening to the Habari Live, the pulse of Black culture, truth, and bold conversations. Now, here's let's go into just straight into the news this week, man. It's been a long week. Let's talk about a couple things I saw this week so far, man. We saw Bill Gates talk about he was going to give up his whole fortune. I think 128 billion, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's a big deal. But we saw a lot of people still talk trash about him. Still not really feel. They just don't trust Mr. Gates. People don't trust rich people, even though they just put a rich dude as the president and another rich dude going through cutting all the calling Doge and cutting everything, and they're applauding him. So it's kind of a weird dynamic with how America is sometimes. But I think it's pretty cool that he's giving up his wealth. I think it's pretty cool that he didn't give all his money to his kids. I think that's pretty cool, man. But a lot of people were talking like, oh, he's just trying to get a tax break and some other crap people were saying. So you know how people are, man. They can never look at the positives of situations. He could be doing what Elon Musk is doing, just trying to fill his pockets more and more and more. And he's not. He doesn't seem to be doing that. What else stories we got that's kind of crazy this week?
There was an outage, the FFA outage in Newark this week happened.
Man. It happened twice. Twice
in the same week.
Right. And the person that heads, what is his name? Duffy.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out and blames Biden.
Right.
That's the go-to for the Trump administration. Just blame Biden. They've been in control for 3-4 months now. They still blaming Biden for everything. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a mess. Oh, it's so destroyed. It's all because of Biden.
And then
but y'all fired everybody though.
Right.
Y'all fired everyone.
And then the mayor got arrested by ICE in Newark.
Yes. A lot of craziness in Newark this week. The mayor was arrested. He said he wasn't trespassing. He said he didn't do anything to go past what ICE was asking him to do, but he still was arrested. I saw him talking about it. But he had been trying to stand up for the immigrants.
Patrick Bouillon from TikTok, FDT. I agree.
Yeah, we gotta 100%. Just another ridiculous week in politics when it comes to this administration, man. Another ridiculous week. We saw Kristi Noem getting grilled on Capitol Hill. Mm-hmm. We've seen just more and more despicable lies coming from the administration, and it's just just showing you their true colors, man, what they really are about.
Jeff from TikTok says they've been blaming Trump for 12 years.
Who blamed Trump? Blame Trump for what? Trump make his own bed. You don't have to pick up people to lie about like they lie on Biden. Trump is a pretty good person to blame for a lot of the things that's going on. But especially the racism and the way people are acting towards racism, the despicable politics that's coming from the right, the hate that's coming from the right. Now, I'm not going to lay it all on Donald Trump, but he's definitely the leader. He's definitely the leader. And if you want to talk about what's being blamed, it's his fault. He's the one that's putting these things in motion. You got to be responsible for the things that you're putting in motion. When you're bringing people from the right who we could have hate groups like the Proud Boys and all them cats that he loved, he could have said for years, I don't want anything to do with them, and he never did that. He always oh, there's good people on both sides is what he said. You have to, yeah, you get blamed for things when it is really your fault. But I can't think of anything that Biden pushed that caused the situation that we're in right now. He was a president through COVID. He did a good job to me. He did some things that I disagree with, but mostly he did a decent job. And I wish he was in the cognitive spot to be able to keep running, because like I say all the time, America is not ready for a woman president. We have issues when it comes to women being in power at the top. Now we have them in the Senate and Congress. We have governors, but for some reason, man, when it comes to this presidential office, the votes never lay. We always have problems and issues. So I don't know. But let's run that Habari News Weekly, man. Let's get into it.
And now, this week's Habari News Weekly with Damon Dipling Ellison.
We are sponsored by no one at this time, but if you do want to become a sponsor, email us at info@habarientertainment.com and we'll get a package created for you. Man, this week we have a lot of news, a lot of news, a lot of things to go through. Like I say all the time, man, this is Donald Trump administration. This is their way of doing things, to hit you with all different directions with news, to keep you keep you confused about what's going on. This is how they do it, man. And you wonder why so many stories is coming out. Most of the time under Biden, you didn't even hear from him. I know y'all called him Sleepy Joe, but I'd rather have a president that's doing things slowly than making bad decisions quickly. And that's what we have right now. They're making bad decisions really, really fast. What's up, Wealth? Elijah, what's going on, man? Good morning. We had a lot of people that are making bad decisions, like putting tariffs in place and then the next day taking them off. Forcing people to the table when it comes to trade by slapping them with tariffs instead of coming to the table first, negotiating these things and coming to a consensus. We're not doing those things. So it's better to make decisions slowly. News should trickle out slowly from the White House, not this avalanche of information and disinformation and misinformation that's coming out nowadays. So it's kind of crazy the spot that we're in, man. But let's get into the first story. What we got?
Yeah, this week we're going to begin in Somers, New York,
where
a recent Republican town hall turned contentious. Emily Feiner, a dedicated social worker from New York's 17th Congressional District, was forcibly removed from the event by multiple men. Eyewitnesses report that Feiner was violently pulled from her seat and carried out despite pleas from other attendees for her to remain. The town hall was intended as a forum of discussing local issues and policies, where Feiner is known for her commitment to vulnerable community members.
Right.
Found herself at the center of a confrontation when security personnel intervened. Footage of the incident has circulated widely online, igniting debates about the appropriate use of force and the treatment of constituents at political events.
So we have that clip. Go ahead and run it clipped and let's see how she was treated here today. This is pretty despicable.
What it will do, it will bring economic investment back into the U.S. It will force So, for instance, I'll give you a case in point.
Are you serious?
Prescription
I'm
drug
gonna ask you to stop
precursors.
recording.
Do you want China to continue to be?
I'm not recording that. I'm recording this.
Good morning. Thank you for tuning in.
Ladies and gentlemen, please return to your seats. Please return to your seats.
He's not answering questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of questions to get through. The congressman is giving him his time. Let's get through these questions.
Because you keep interrupting as I'm trying to answer the question.
Let's remember.
Shame on you!
Look how the people are reacting. Look how upset the people are.
Right.
Now we have this Johnny boy coming on here talking about we are disinformation. What can you do to make that disinformation? This video, it shows what happened. This is what's going on in this country, man. People cannot speak their views, their opinions. They're talking about freedom of speech, but freedom of speech only comes when they want to say the N-word.
Yep.
Anybody else that looks at their views or has a different view than the Republicans right now are being pulled out, kicked out. They got the police pulling them out of the town halls. And this is not the first time that we've seen this. This is something that's going on all the time.
Yep. And, one onlooker described the scene as a blatant overreach of force, leaving no doubt about the intensity of the actions taken against her.
Mm-hmm.
The use of physical force against a social worker actively engaging in community matters has raised serious concerns about the protocols governing public gatherings.
That's real. That's real.
As of now, local law enforcement and event organizers have not released official statements regarding the incident. Community leaders are also calling for accountability and a thorough review of security practices to ensure that public forums like this remain safe spaces for discourse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? This is a town hall where we are supposed to be able to come and talk to our representative.
And voice our
His
concerns.
constituents are supposed to have the ability to voice their concerns about what is going on, what laws are being put in place. And if we disagree or agree with those things, we are supposed to be able to come to the town halls and voice our opinions. Nowadays, the Republicans, they don't want to see that because the people are disagreeing with the things that they are doing. So when the people are in the crowds that disagree, they're kicking them out. This is what freedom of speech was created for those people to be able to speak, to be able to protest. They want to shut down protesting. They're trying to take funds away from schools because the schools don't want to stop students from protesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what freedom of speech is about. They only care about it when it's racism. Like the lady with the lady. Sorry.
Johnny Boy gonna say you're race baiting too now.
I didn't even say anything about race. What did I say about race? What are you talking about? These people are they care about race more than we do. That's all they talk about. The Republicans. I was watching more. We're gonna go into it more, but Piers Morgan's show where the racist lady was on there talking about she could say the N-word at any time. It was just crazy to see these people on here talking about how white people are going through systemic racism. It was insane.
Yeah.
While they're sitting there saying that they can say whatever they want and racism isn't an issue, but they can call little 5-year-old kids N-word when they feel like it. So it was weird. It is weird place, man. Freedom of speech for all words. She can say the N-word. She wasn't arrested. But does that mean that her company, her job, does that mean that her job want her to still work there because of the things she's saying?
Does that mean
They don't have to. They're a private company.
does she deserve to raise money for herself for doing this to some child in public?
Mm,
A child. You're
they don't
okay
care.
with an adult treating a child that way.
They don't care, man.
But it's freedom of speech for all words.
Right. But the first thing they say is race baiting.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't. You know what I'm saying? These people are insane. But let's go into segment 2 here, man. Trump's remarks and Crockett's response. Turning to national politics, former President Donald Trump recently made headlines with derogatory remarks about Representative Jasmine Crockett. The right hates her with a passion.
Yeah, they do.
They hate her. She's from Texas, and during an interview on NBC's Meet the Press, Trump referred to Crockett as a low IQ person, reigniting discussions about his history of targeting black women with the same insult over and over and over.
I look
Let's
at
go
the
ahead and run
Democrats,
that
they're in
clip.
total disarray. They have a new person named Crockett. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. And they said, she's the future of the party. I said, you have to be kidding.
The fact that you just got done engaging in a conversation where we have a president of the United States who has no idea about the oath that he just took on January 20th tells me everything that I need to know. He didn't even have good sense enough in that same interview to say something as simple as, yes, I will follow the Constitution. The thing that actually derived from the oath that he was supposed to take. And he supposedly took an oath, which there's a lot of people that point out that he never put his hand on the Bible, even though he acts as if he could somehow be the Pope. But nevertheless, that oath specifically says that you will defend the Constitution. So the idea that you are now taking the Constitution,
right,
and as I said at the DNC, putting it through a paper shredder is a problem. And I think that this should not be partisan. This should be right versus wrong. A lot of the things that this administration is doing, they don't have anything to do with partisanship. This is right versus wrong. And right now, they are consistently wrong.
Yeah, man. So I mean, Crockett, she's been a star lately. She's been a star going against these Marjorie Taylor Greens, Donald Trumps, all of these piece of shit Republicans that's out here now. Let's see what this old dude says, Caravaggio. Blacks supported Carmelo Anthony, so it's reciprocal. Man, y'all supported Andrew Zimmerman. Y'all supported Rittenhouse. We learned it from
Dylan
you.
Roof.
And also, let me tell you the difference between you guys going and running and giving money to a lady that was
Said
calling
the
a
N-word.
5-year-old the N-word, and us giving money to Carmelo Anthony. He has a case that has to be fought. And the case is that many people think was self-defense. There is no defending what that lady did
To a child.
to a little 5-year-old. Now we can't say that, oh, the teenager, we know that it sounds like it was a fight. He grabbed him and tried to remove him from a place when he shouldn't have even thought to do that. If he didn't want Carmelo there, he should have went to the teachers
And when got an adult.
and got him moved out.
Or when it got
But
security.
he tried to move him himself. Then we found out it wasn't a knife. They was like, oh, he shouldn't have had a knife on property.
It was a cleat sharpener.
A cleat sharpener. So these things, this racism that you people are having because you don't want to see a black person ever use the self-defense case, it's crazy. Self-defense was used against Trayvon Martin. Y'all applauded it. Yay, stand your ground. Yeah. But when a black person uses it, oh no, murderer.
The outrage.
The person doesn't even these people don't care. As long as it's a black person that's dying, they feel good. As long as the person's black or brown, they're okay. That's the racism that we're dealing with.
Mom probably calls him that herself.
Sticks and stones, mom probably calls him. Yeah. Wow. So she should be able to call a 5-year-old the N-word because her mother probably calls him. Are you serious, Jake? If you are, you need
Because
to
the
get some
child's
you need to
mother
get some
calls him
help.
that.
Ain't nobody calling a kid no N-word. Shut the hell up, man. Shut the hell up, man. You don't know what you're talking about. So, the racism that's coming from the right is ridiculous. Crockett, she's a freshman Democratic congresswoman known for her outspoken criticism of Donald Trump and his administration. She responded with resilience. In a pointed rebuttal posted on X, formerly Twitter, she dismissed Trump's remarks as immature, citing her academic achievements and commitment to uplifting future leaders. Further addressing the insult, Crockett appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, where she confidently agreed to take a public IQ test against Trump, which he would lose because he's a fucking idiot.
He would horribly fail.
He would lose. She remarked, "It says a lot when you're supposed to be the leader of the free world and you're worried about a sophomore in the house." It's crazy. What he's worried about is insane.
Mm-hmm.
This incident is not isolated with Trump. He has a history of questioning the intelligence of black public figures, including Congresswoman Maxine Waters, whom he has repeatedly labeled as having a low IQ.
Yep.
Crockett's response underscores a broader issue of respect and representation in political discourse. Her willingness to confront such attacks head on highlights the resilience and the determination of black women in leadership roles.
Yep. You're right. And in these two events, Emily Finer's removal from the town hall and the derogatory remarks directed at Representative Crockett highlight ongoing challenges in our political landscape. They raise critical questions about the treatment of individuals in public forums and the standards of discourse that we uphold.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go ahead and dive a little deeper into Trump always calling black women low IQ.
I want to speak to old Johnny boy over here. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. So a grown up gets to call a little kid a name because he hears the word every day. Are you fucking stupid, dude? Man, you people need to be put into insane asylums. You're okay, man. Let's say that your kid was being called, if your kid was special needs and everybody was calling him retarded. Oh, well, he hears it all the time, so it's not a big deal. So everybody can call your kid retard because he hears it all the time? Boy, I swear to God, y'all might be the dumbest racists I've ever heard talk to, man. Y'all need to come up with some new shit, man. There's no way that you can think that, oh, okay, well, he hears it, so that means that the word is okay.
Right. Uh,
Until it happens
user-
to your fucking kids, then it's a problem.
User from TikTok said, "So true. These MAGA white people are satanic."
Man, devil worshippers. They try to hide under the guise of Christianity.
Yep.
They try to hide under the guise of true Americans, but they're neither. They're neither. They're evil. They need to live on a planet by themselves. Go to Mars with Elon. We would love it. Because if we got rid of racist people like Johnny Boy, most of the problems that we have in this fucking country would go away. Most of them. Now we're going to talk about, we're going to get into this, man, this thing about Donald Trump always calling black people low IQ. We're going to decode the low IQ narrative, Trump's targeting of black voices. It seems that this is something that he does all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it, Habari family. It's your dynamic duo, like always, Damon and Aisha here to dissect the narratives that shape our world.
That's right, Damon. And today we're activating our energy net to delve into a pattern of rhetoric that has been both concerning and consistent. Donald Trump's labeling of black individuals, especially black women, as having low IQ.
It's a term he's used repeatedly. And it's time we unpack the implications and the individuals that have been targeted by his name calling.
Mm-hmm.
Recent remarks on representing Jasmine Crockett is just more proof.
Yep. And let's start with the most recent incident. Just 2 days ago, during an interview on NBC's Meet the Press, Trump referred to Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett as a low IQ person.
Right. Low IQ. Crockett didn't stay silent. She took to social media stating, "Every time you say my name, you're reminding the world that you're terrified of smart, bold black women, telling the truth and holding you accountable."
Yep. And her response highlights a broader issue: the targeting of black women who speak out and with conviction.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's intimidated.
What is this? Tomas over here, 9999 on YouTube. Racism is a problem, but it is minuscule compared to the absence of fathers in the African American community. Blah blah blah. We had the
Man,
same
shut the
discussion
fuck up,
last
man.
week.
Why y'all
It's
so
just
worried
on
about-
repeat?
Dog.
Y'all always worried about the same bullshit. Why aren't black fathers in the family? Black fathers, black fathers, black fathers. Worry about your own kids and your own family. How about that?
We all know that this is just a racist trope. Most black men are in their kids' lives. Most black men are there. All the black men I know, they are there for their kids. You don't know what you're talking about. It's because you don't know black people
At all.
So, just keep to yours, man. Stop using your racism to sharpen your views. Open your eyes to what's really going on. You don't know what you're talking about. So
Unlearn the ways of your parents.
Right. So a pattern has set in for Trump of demeaning black women. This isn't an isolated incident. Back in 2018, Trump called, like I said, Representative Maxine Waters an extraordinary low IQ person.
Yep. And he also labeled journalist April Ryan a loser and nasty, and referred to Omarosa Manigault Newman as a dog and crazed, crying lowlife.
These comments aren't just insults. They perpetuate harmful stereotypes about black women's intelligence and demeanor.
Yep. And we're going to extend beyond women.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's derogatory remarks aren't just limited to women.
Right.
He called CNN anchor Don Lemon the dumbest man on television.
Mm-hmm.
And he questioned the intelligence of LeBron James. Y'all's king, right?
These attacks often follow criticism of Trump, suggesting a pattern of retaliation against black voices, challenging his narrative.
Yep. I want to go over here to the comment section. MM says, when I say I have a good wife, that doesn't mean every spouse is good. That's just dumb.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. What is your point?
What is your point, bro? My wife is black, you fool. Okay. There's the wealth of generation. There's a stereotype of fathers not being there, but they are a generation behind. And the reason for that shit is systemic racism. You're right. You are right. The main reason for this is because our neighborhoods are over policed. Black people are pulled over in higher numbers. We are looked at and searched and pulled over. We are messed with and fucked with more than anybody on this goddamn country.
Yep.
Anyone in this country. Every time they pulling us over, they fucking with us. Nah, man, ain't no fucking victimhood. It's the truth. Yep. It's the truth. You don't have to make it feel it's the truth. You're always talking about victimhood, and this is from the same people who are talking about systemic racism against white people is the problem. These are the same people who are sitting around and saying that black people have been shoving Black Lives Matters down their throat and that it's been hard for them because they haven't been able to call black people the N-word in years. These are the things that we're dealing with. These are the people we're dealing with. It's hard to have a conversation with these people, man. Let's see. Farmer Larberry. Dude, any kid, no matter the color, needs a father in the home, and the statistics don't lie. Is it racist for people to hope for better lives for other people, dog?
I agree with Morby 12054 on TikTok. There are white men that are not in their kids' lives.
But some reason they always talking about it's just black people. Yeah, there are some problems in the black community. No community is perfect. The white community is racist. And 80-90% of the crime that's perpetuated towards whites It's from another white person. White never talk about white on white crime. Everybody, that's the way it is, though, man. That's the way it is. These people are just evil. Everything isn't about race. Some people are low IQ and it has nothing to do with race. If he said Hillary was low IQ, is it because of, I don't remember him doing that, though. You see what I'm saying? He has a pattern of calling black women this.
Yep.
This is his favorite go-to for black women, bro.
You're right. You're right. And let's go ahead and get into the historical context and implications that have come with Trump's derogatory comments, right? Historically, he's questioning black people's intelligence has been a tool of oppression.
That's real.
Trump's language echoes these tactics, undermining the credibility and contributions of black individuals in America.
That's real. A person who has been through college, has gotten their master's degree in politics, and you're going to call them low IQ?
Right.
It's crucial to recognize and challenge these patterns, ensuring that our discourse uplifts rather than diminish.
Yep. So we're going to keep our ears open to Trump's rhetoric and racist nuances.
Yeah, man, we'll keep it open because we know he'll do it again because he
always does.
He's a racist. There's no doubt about that.
And Farmer LeBear 22, you guys are race baiters and professional victims. I hope zero black people take your advice.
Man, look, man, nobody's race baiting by just speaking the truth.
Like these days, you
I
can't
just
even have a
don't,
conversation
dude. Y'all stupid as fuck, dog.
without somebody calling
You
you
race baiting. What the fuck are you talking about? This dude called all black people low IQ and we can't talk about it? We supposed to fucking ignore it because you said so? Fuck you. We'll talk about it because we fucking want to. It's a majority black people. Shut up about white. What's majority black people? We're only 13, 14% of this fucking country. What are you talking about? All the racism comes from white people. We have no power to be able to do anything about what fucking white people are doing every day. None. I'm sickening. Man, dude, you're the one that's coming on here calling me a race baiter because we're talking about Trump calling black people low IQ. What have black people, please tell me what have black people done? All these racists always talking about that it's always black people. Please give me a situation where black people have put whites in a bad situation.
Or where black people have oppressed
Please,
white people.
Please, just give me one fucking example of black fucking oppression towards whites, where white people couldn't get a job because of blacks. Please tell me.
Right.
Give me a fucking example. One. You ain't gonna come up with one because you don't have any. Fuck out of here. Every week I would get a handful of black kids asking to come home. Yeah, man. There are a lot of black people living and a lot of black people live in poverty. A lot of them live in bad neighborhoods, and that's called systemic racism. That it's always the poor people are always the brown and the black people. Overwhelmingly. We're not saying there aren't any poor white people because there are. But overwhelmingly, there are neighborhoods for black and brown people that are poor and struggling. They have schools that are poor and struggling. And instead of you motherfuckers trying to do something to help, you talk shit. You go online and want to point people out.
Any handouts.
Like, right. Instead of providing jobs for these people, they laugh at them and try to destroy DEI.
And then tell them, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Nah, he didn't call all black people low IQ, but he called enough for us to see the pattern of him calling everyone low IQ. Mr. Rob Bass. He's calling too many people, black people, low IQ. We know this is a racist trope that is being held by the Republican Party for years. You know, it's not new. This is something that's been going on for years. He loves sports. When it comes to black people in sports, he loved that.
You're right, Jazz. It is just sad.
It is sad. Very sad. But these people try to sugarcoat it, act like it's not happening, act like these things aren't going on. Farmer Bar, yes, you're sickening. I've watched 20 minutes of your videos and not only about race. I'm doing to help what? I fucking help happily. You guys are the problem, not because you're asshole. What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Can you reword your sentence and restructure that, please?
I work with people of all colors,
Yes,
and
Rob
all
Base, it's a
races.
generalization. That is something that is okay to do.
It's
when
not
you're in-
general. How is it a generalization when he's called 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black women low IQ?
Right.
That's not generalization. When he's actually did it. We didn't see him do it once and we said, oh, he does it all the time. We've seen him do it several fucking times.
Right. It's still happening.
So what are you talking about? He just did it the other day. He just called somebody soon as this. I mean, these are people that are intelligent, intellectual, political people. And soon as he hears that they don't like him, they're low IQ. It's got to be some racism behind that. I mean, does his DEI actions and the way he's removed Jackie Robinson,
Right.
the
The
Tuskegee
Woolworth
Airmen,
counter being removed
is that enough?
from the African American
I
Museum.
mean, the black people are the lowest employed people in the country. And he's going after DEI to make sure that we're even lower when it comes to the employment opportunities. Like he's trying to do everything to make sure we have no opportunities. That's what he's doing. You said that he said he did it to all black people, then admitted it was 7. I never said he did it to all black people. I'm saying it's a pattern. So it makes me feel like he thinks this way about all black people. A pattern has set in.
Walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. What is it?
I mean, how many times does he have to call somebody black low IQ?
Before he thinks that about the entire race.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Did you flip out when Biden called Obama the first educated man? First? I mean, dog, Biden says a lot of dumb shit. I don't know if he said that, but he was under Obama. He was with Obama. He followed Obama. He listened to Obama. He put his legislation in place.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was racist, he followed the dude. He did everything Obama told him to do. What type of racist does that? I have never met a racist that follows black people and does what they ask him to do. What kind of racist is that, man?
Or when he sponsored the laws to make.
Man, thank goodness
Smack
my
a
wife is very
legislature.
educated and very smart and doesn't need to lean on her race to succeed. Dog,
Neither do I, homie.
no one can lean on their race to succeed except white people in this country, bro. No one can say, oh, I'm white and it's going to help me to get. Black doesn't get you anywhere, bro. I know y'all think that it's easy and we don't have to do anything in this country. If we have it so easy, why are we the poorest minority in the country?
And why are we only 13% of the country?
If we have it so good, why are we the most unemployed group in the country? If we have all these incentives and we're doing so well, why the fuck we so poor? Like the math is not adding up. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Math ain't mathing.
It doesn't I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And I just do not understand. You're always talking about all these things that black people have, but then at the same time calling us dumb and poor and all these things. How can those two things coincide? If DEI is propping us up, wouldn't we be some of the richest people in the world instead of the poorest? I just do not understand. Because you vote for criminally stupid and insane politicians that tell you that they're going to take care of you and welfare, and nobody runs on that. Mr. Rath, nobody runs on that. Welfare is for people who need help. Some people do take advantage of it, just like some people take advantage of taxes. They take advantage of government spending. It's a lot of people who take up a lot of things and take advantage of a lot of things. Some people are making poor life choices, but some people have no choice. So it's a hard situation, man. You people, it's easy to look down on others when you're standing on a pedestal. It's easy to do that, but it's harder when you're standing and you're looking eye to eye to these people and you're in the same situation they're in. Let me see. Milner's Raft, including dumbing down the educational standards, and then people wonder why they don't qualify for certain professions. It's harder and harder to get educated in this country right now. It's harder and harder to afford education, and they doing that on purpose. They want to make sure that the communities, that are the poor people, never can escape being poor. And most people that are born poor, they will die poor. That's the thing that you people don't understand. They try to make it seem like in America you could pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but most people, they don't do that. They born poor and they're gonna die poor. That's the way it works. Matt Gardner, what do you think about reparations? I don't. There's no reason to think about it. It's never gonna fucking happen. It should have been done a long time ago. They should have gave it to the people when they came out of slavery, but they didn't. It seems like when it comes to African Americans, the right thing is never fucking done. It's always an excuse. It's always a but. It's always a reason why they can't do the fucking right thing when it comes to black people. Any other group that went through this, they make sure they taking care of them. But I don't think that reparations is something that we should focus on or talk about or even think is going to happen, because it's not. You're going to have to figure out how to make your communities better yourselves, because no one's going to hand you anything, and they're all going to look at you like, what do you, it's not my fault you're in this position. Doesn't matter. The history doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where we've been or how hard it is. Doesn't matter. We have to figure it out ourselves, because these people only mission is to keep you broke and uneducated. Never let school get in the way of your education, Samuel Clemens. Farmer, you don't know how much you love me and need me. Education doesn't mean smarter. It sometimes means more indoctrinated. Well, you can't get jobs without education. You can't get into these professions and feed your family with a good salary of six figures if you don't have education. Well, you're lucky, Rod Base. Most people without an education can't make over $100,000. This is not the normal situation. Most people who do not have high education make under $30,000 a year. Go look up the statistics, man. College is not necessary for you, but for most people, the more education you have, the more money you make. That is the way it works. Yeah, colleges are rackets, man. I do agree. The amount of money that they are charging nowadays is ridiculous. Trade schools is still higher learning. You're learning a trade, but you're still going to have to pay for that trade to be able to get that education to be able to get those trade jobs. That's still, I would still call it a college, man. Trade schools aren't free. You got to pay for them. Carpenters, electricians, plumbers, they all make great money. I agree. But those trade schools aren't free, man. People, and they're getting more and more expensive every year. That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. He started when he was 14. That's cool, man. Somebody probably helped you to and helped you to get to that place. And someone was smart enough to lead you to that place. That's what it's about, man. Having good leaders to help you get to the next spot for you can succeed. That's why you need leadership. And that's why I think fathers are important, especially for men, for you can be able to follow in the steps of your dad, who maybe was a plumber or a carpenter. Those things are true. Two things can be true at the same time, man. Yeah, I mean, but not all trade schools are free, brother. I don't know where you're at, man. 5-year apprenticeship, that's dope. But not trade schools are just as expensive as some colleges nowadays. Shit. Fucking shit's expensive, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go into the next one. What's next?
We're gonna be. It looks like it's on you. The roof over America's head. We're gonna dive deep into Section 8.
Yeah. So this week it did come out that that the Trump administration is talking about cutting funds for Section 8. This is a very tough subject for a lot of people who depend on this housing. Let me see. M. Roby, welfare was put in place for white women from the beginning, and today most people on welfare are white. Yeah, definitely more. Most people are white that's on welfare, but for some reason, it's definitely a stigma that's attached to to Black Americans for some reason. They call us lazy and welfare recipients, and that's all we do. I've never had welfare in my life. My mother wasn't on it. We didn't have it. I never had it as an adult. So I don't really know what people be talking about all the time. They act like everyone is just from these welfare situations, but it's just not true. But it's too many of us that come from these situations. But the roof over America's head. Let's take a deep dive into Section 8. Like I said, man, it's a tough subject, man. And Habari wants to just get into these subjects and talk about these things. So we're going to take a dive under the surface of something that affects millions, yet rarely gets the time it deserves.
Yep, you're right. Facts. So today we're going to be breaking down the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Mm-hmm.
Some are calling it a lifeline, while others are labeling it as a handout.
Yeah.
But we came with facts, not fiction. So let's go ahead.
Exactly what is Section 8? I know a lot of people have heard of it. Section 8, officially the Housing Choice Voucher Program, started in 1974, built from a Nixon-era housing strategy. So a Republican. I know a lot of people love to say that the Democrats want you on welfare, Section 8. So Nixon was very, very, very Republican, and he built this program. He built it. Y'all always saying it's the Democrats that make the handout programs.
But look at
this is a Nixon era housing strategy.
If Black people wasn't getting welfare, it would be the greatest system in the country.
Oh my God. Its mission to make sure low-income families, seniors, and folks with disabilities can afford decent, safe, and sanitary housing in the private market.
Yep. And let's go ahead and go into a little bit about how Section 8 actually works for those of you that don't know. The tenant pays up to 30% of their monthly income in rent.
Mm-hmm.
The government picks up the rest with what's called a housing assistance payment, or HAP, sent straight to the landlord through your local public housing authority or your PHA. So the tenant never sees this money in their account. It goes directly to the landlord. And the tenant pays the remaining balance, the remaining 30% balance, right?
Right. So who exactly benefits from Section 8? Nationwide, about 7.2 million people rely on Section 8 programs.
That's right. And check this out. 45% of the voucher holders are Black households. 35% are white households. 16% are Hispanic. And over 74% of the homes are female-led.
Yeah.
The average household income is only just about $17,000 a year.
Wow. This is that's real poverty, man. That's crazy. I mean, I hate to see the percentages. There's more Black people on there than it should be. It's definitely horrifying to hear. And then that means it's a lot of single mothers in this program. So we got to do better, man. We got to figure these things out. We have to figure these things out, man. I know it's tough. I know the system's against us, but we got to figure these things out. This 35% is way too fucking high, man. Way too high. So when you hear that Section 8 is helping folks cheat the system, remember this. These are moms, seniors, and disabled individuals trying to survive on less than $1,500 a month.
So let's go into how Section 8 works on the ground. It's not just a free ride like most people think it is. Tenants still have to find housing on their own. Not only that, they go apartment hunting just like everybody else, but their vouchers covers what they cannot afford. That's empowerment, not dependency.
Right.
So most renters or most landlords require that you make 3.5 times the monthly rent in order to rent their units.
Yes. So farmer bear, whatever your shit is. It's definitely a racist trope because you pretty much think that because a high percentage of these homes are led by women, that automatically means that the father isn't in their life. That is incorrect. They could be split up. They could be on a break. They could have broken up, and the man and that does not mean that he's not in the kid's life. That just means that they are not together anymore. To automatically assume because this person is in Section 8 that the dad has nothing to do with it with the family is just bull. You don't know what you're talking about. Most of these homes, like I said, are people who split up from the dad. Dad split up. And a lot of these women, they do this on purpose, saying that dad is not in the motherfucking place so they can get these situations and get these homes
and get help
and get into these places. The only way you can do that is without the father, because if you do have the dad in there, that you're not getting it. So a lot of them lie, or they just don't let the dad live there for they can get into these homes instead of struggling with their man and figuring it out. So just because somebody is in Section 8 housing does not mean that the dad is not in their life at all. That is just a racist trope. So you're incorrect.
Exactly. I am kingdom. Families can be on Section 8. Married couples can also be on Section 8.
Yes, definitely. But in most situations with a dual couple, you know how much money y'all have to be making for you guys to get into Section 8, and how many kids you would have to have. So I mean, it's very hard for a couple to get in Section 8. Y'all would have to be making almost zero together.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. Let me see. My half black friend and his white wife are on Section 8, as well as carpenter subtractors as well. Some if they don't make enough money in the year, definitely. Many homes on Section 8, the male is in the home as well. Yeah, some of them. But like I said, they would have to have 3-4 kids.
And you're right, Jay. Section 8 does have a waiting list typically for each state. Each city has a waiting list.
Definitely.
And a lot of people have waited for years. You're right.
No one's giving any excuses, man. This is what's going on in the world. Not everybody is going to have the ability or the intelligence or intellect to be able to get themselves from poverty and raise themselves with property. And like I said to you, Mr. Farmer, most people born in poverty are going to die in poverty. I know it's hard for people to believe. I know pull yourself up by your bootstraps, they tell you. It's not the way it works, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to get out of these spots once you're in it all your life. These people have been living generations living in these places, man. If it's easy as just going to get a job and getting out, then definitely more people would be out of those situations. Like she said, Jay said, a lot of people have been waiting for years. Definitely. Welfare was put in. We already saw that.
Lynn Goldbrand said back in the 80s, they had a program through the food stamp office where we had to work for the food stamps. Myself and my friend were sent to work for the Sand Beach department on the Gulf Coast. Miss Lynn Goldberg, people still have to work for their food stamps unless they're disabled.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a work requirement for people obtaining food stamps.
You either have to prove that you're searching for work,
yep,
or you have to be working yourself. But we got companies like Walmart, $1 billion company, and they won't pay their workers enough so they can get out of welfare.
Mm-hmm.
We got people who work and they're not getting paid enough to stop taking government money. And these same people who are hollering, "Oh man, get off welfare." Anytime we say, "Hey, let's make the salaries more. Let's raise wages for people." No, they don't. No, we ain't raising. You don't want to raise salaries. So it's like, which do you want?
Yep. Jay said, even if someone is disabled, they might not qualify for food stamps if they get Social Security insurance or SSI.
Mm-hmm. And what's SSI, like $200? Like SSI is nothing.
No, SSI insurance,
like 400, something crazy.
It can replace your income of what you would typically get from your employer, depending on the level of your disability.
Nah, man. Voting blue, no matter who is contributing factor to water projects. That's not true, man. That's not true. That is not true. Voting blue, no matter who, is not it's a system that is ran by both sides in every state. Republicans have just as much to do with what's going on in these projects as Democrats. And I'm not going to say the Democrats uh, um, absolve of any blame. I'm not saying that. They get blamed too, definitely. But I
And
also blame, the people who put people in these places and the
right,
people who are not leading people from these places and giving us a different direction.
right. And earlier you said that the average rent was about what, $1,500,
Mhm.
or people were surviving on less than like $1,500,
Right,
right?
right.
The average SSI benefit for an individual is $967 a month.
Phew.
$967 a month. That's the average that individuals are receiving.
That ain't nothing, man. Like I was always trying to say, they don't give you shit.
When your average rent,
And you probably only getting that 900 if you got a couple of kids and some more shit.
no, and they're saying that the average couple receiving SSI receives about $1,450 a month. $1,450 a month.
Nothing.
Two people in the home, both receiving SSI, the average together they're probably going to receive is $1,450.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's not even enough to cover the rest of the bills in the house. That's just basically rent right there.
Let me see. Welfare was supposed to be a hand up, not a handout in the first place, and it turned out to be a
Switch.
handout, and that it turned into a status quo. I mean, it's not enough money to be a hand up. It's only to help you to survive through your situation until you can get into a better situation. That's what it's supposed to be for. It's not a hand up because it's not enough money to raise you up out of poverty. It keeps you in poverty. You're poor. You're not going to be able to get out of poverty with that amount of money that they're giving you.
The
So
system
that
should
is
be based on a
that's just
contribution of a
ridiculous.
certain cap whereby they match what you make.
No, what? I honestly, I think the system. Okay, I don't know, man. That's tough, man. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. You only thing I wish is that we would clean up our neighborhoods better. It's going to be poor people regardless, man. Everybody is not going to have money. In every country, there's poor people. The only difference is in America, we treat them like pure garbage, and we look at them and say, get it together," instead of realizing that there's going to be people who are going to be at the bottom. There's no way that everyone's going to be rich. But the bottom shouldn't mean that you have to live in a situation where you're fucking struggling.
You shouldn't have to live in squalor.
That's
because
right.
you live
Just
at the
because you're
bottom.
poor. You shouldn't be able to, just because you're poor, that doesn't mean that your life should be garbage, that your neighborhood should look like shit. There should be people cleaning up these neighborhoods just like they do in the good neighborhoods. Why should these neighborhoods be defunct of any cleaning, defunct of
Street
any street
cleaners and-
cleanings,
right.
defunct of any trash being brought out of the areas?
Picked up.
Houses that's torn apart and dilapidated, and they just keeping them there. Houses that's been burnt all up, they still there. No one wants, the city doesn't want to pay to pull them down. Those are the things that's ridiculous, and it makes it harder. There's gonna be poor people, man. There's gonna be people that struggle through life. There's no way we're all gonna be fucking Elon Musk. There's no way we're all gonna get white collar tech jobs. Everybody's not gonna be able to get there. Some people,
Everybody's not going to be that smart to have a tech job.
it's not gonna happen, man. Sorry, it's just not gonna happen. We have just like when I saw Canada's projects, I was like, goodness, look how they treat the people who don't make a lot. And I understand this. They actually punish people for making money. What they should do is match the money that they actually make. I hear you, man. I just don't know if that Americans would be with that.
Most Americans are not with that.
They're not even with the situation of giving a couple people $250, $300 a month. The people are yelling and screaming, talking about how they need to just buy vegetables with that, and telling them what they can buy and wanting to give them less money. And
They want to make the food stamp
Right.
program like the WIC program.
man, they want to do all type shit, take that money away from people. See, in cities like Phoenix, the housing department runs a self-sufficiency program to help voucher recipients learn job skills, save money, and eventually get off insistence altogether. It's not just housing, it's supposed to be a launch pad.
Yep, you're right. And landlords and property access. The landlords sign a housing assistance payment contract with the city and a regular lease with the tenant. So the tenant has a typical lease of what the actual rent would actually be per month if they were renting as a normal tenant without having a Section 8 voucher.
Right.
But it's a win-win. That's guaranteed rent for the landlords and housing stability for the tenants. So the tenants get a stable home and the landlord gets guaranteed my rent is going to be paid this month for this unit.
Right. There are even project-based vouchers where housing authorities lock in specific units with landlords to reserve them for low-income families. This creates more predictable access to housing in high-rent cities.
Yep.
I appreciate that, Rob Bass. Definitely, we don't have to always agree. As long as we're willing to communicate and talk about these things, we can figure out a way to come to a point of understanding. Like you said, I agree 100%.
Right. And that's what we're here for, is to, communicate with everybody that may not have the same opinions as we do.
That's real. We all ain't going to view everything the same.
Right. So let's go ahead and move on into Trump's proposed cuts and the fallout that's happening from his proposed cuts. Now, here's the warning siren. The Trump administration's 2025 budget proposal aims to slash Section 8 and HUD rental assistance by up to 40%,
Goodness.
shifting the burden to states using block grants.
Yeah, that's right. And what does that mean? What does that mean in the real world? Cities like San Francisco estimate that over 1,900 people could lose their home. Public housing authorities like New York to Phoenix warn of increased evictions, overcrowding, and homelessness.
Yep. And you got Section 8. You're not just slashing numbers. You're slashing lives, futures, kids' access to education, and safety. And this ain't just a theory. These are real life consequences that will happen once this program has been slashed.
Man, and we saw the numbers where black people are only 15% of America. We're 35% of the people that live in HUD.
Okay, Rob Bass,
that's
enjoy.
way too much.
Happy Mother's Day weekend.
Have a good one, bro. We can't ignore that. We can't ignore the numbers, man. A disproportionate number of black families rely on Section 8. We can't ignore these things. I know a lot of these things are hard for us to hear sometimes, man. We know that the systemic issues that we face, but man, we have to figure out how to own more and how to get out of these situations, man. We got to rely on the black families to build a stronger core for we can be able to build something that we can give to the future. Black families rely on Section 8, man. And that's not a good thing. We should not rely on these people to help us, because at any time legislation could come through that could just take out the whole community and we're all homeless.
Yep. You're right.
These cuts hit black women, black elders, black children the hardest. This is more than budget math. This is social engineering.
Yep. And let's be honest, when you dismantle a program like this,
go ahead, switch it, bro.
What you're doing is deepening the poverty level. Housing is a human right. A human right. Everyone deserves the right to housing.
That's real.
And the people, they know it.
Yeah, man. We all know how hard we hope that Donald Trump doesn't do this, but we're seeing a lot of things being thrown out. One thing that I did see them say that they may raise the taxes on the rich. I agree with that. It would be the first thing that I agree with these people. I agree. The taxes needs to be raised on the rich instead of trying to figure out places to raise the taxes on the middle class. We've already been burdened enough by the tariffs you put in place. Now, we'll see how the right reacts to tax rates hikes. We know what happened in the past when George Bush came out saying no new taxes
and then had
to raise the taxes. He was a one-term president.
But that's essentially what Trump is doing here. He was like, I'm not gonna raise taxes. I'm not gonna raise taxes. I'm gonna give tax cuts to my buddies.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And now he's singing the same tune. Oh, well,
Mhm.
I gotta raise taxes in order to pass this bill.
Right. Right. So we'll see what they do, man. But it's definitely a situation that we're looking into, and that's the word for this week, family. We'll keep watch on these policies and how they play out on our blocks, in our homes, and in our stories. We'll keep an eye on what's going on with the Section 8 things.
Yep. So go ahead, activate your own energy net. Research. Ask your questions. Speak up. Because if you don't tell the truth, if we don't tell the truth, who's gonna do that for us?
No, right? No one, man. No one. So let's know what we got next here, man. Here is more from Habari News Weekly. We're gonna. Oh goodness.
Yeah, so thanks for joining our weekly segment. Thank you for joining in the conversation about Section 8. If you have any additional comments, please put them in the chat section. Thank you for joining in on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you're joining from. Let us know. Drop it in the comment section. But today we've got a tough story to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one that raises serious questions about safety, responsibility, and how social media challenges can turn tragic.
Yeah, we're talking about a tragic incident in Spotsylvania. Sorry about that. Spotsylvania, Virginia, where a teenager lost his life while participating in a so-called TikTok prank with his friends. It's 3:00 in the morning. I don't know why you're doing a TikTok prank, but okay. They were reportedly playing Ding Dong Ditch. Sorry, the game where you knock on someone's door and you run away.
Yep. And by this time, but you know what? This time, Ding Dong Ditch, it ended in tragedy. According to the Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office, the homeowner, identified as Butler, thought that his home was being broken into at 3:00 in the morning. He called the police and allegedly shot at the teens, killing one of them.
Butler has now been charged with second-degree murder, malicious wounding, and 2 counts of using a firearm in the commission of a felony. He was arraigned on May 7th with a hearing scheduled for June 18th.
I mean, this story is heartbreaking for everybody that's involved. The teens claimed that they were just trying to hide after knocking on the door, but they were unfamiliar with the neighborhood. Unfortunately, what they saw as a prank was seen as a serious threat by the homeowner.
Yeah, man.
I mean, at 3:00 in the morning, yeah, I'm seeing this as
definitely
as a threat,
as a serious threat.
You're waking me up in the middle of the night,
beating on my door. I mean, that's scary, man. And I understand, dude was scared.
Yeah.
But I don't know why he started shooting. But I understand the fear of someone beating on your door at 3:00 in the morning. It just shows how something meant to be a joke can be ending up with deadly consequences. Yep. And with social media, these pranks can sometimes push people to take risks without fully understanding the dangers that they're putting themselves into.
Absolutely. And in this case, a young life was lost. The local school is providing counseling and support to the students that have been affected, and our thoughts go out to the families during this incredibly difficult time.
Yeah,
but
this
also highlights an issue or an area where parents must be diligent and must talk to their kids about the things that they're doing. Hey, if
18,
you're doing,
the kid was 18, 17 or 18. They was about to graduate.
At this point, your parent should have had the conversation with you. Hey, if you're doing this at 3:00 in the morning, this can happen. This is a consequence of this happening.
I mean, you got to tell people that they can't play with people like that.
Right.
They were on their way. Their prom was the next day, if I'm not mistaken. So the kid was old enough where he should know better than what he was doing. So this story raises questions about how we balance safety, accountability, and the way social media influences young people to do stupid shit that they shouldn't be doing. Now, I don't know what type of consequences this gentleman is going to face, but it's a tough situation, man. You got people knocking on your door and beating on your door at 3:00 in the morning. He should not have shot unless he saw a really some danger coming towards his way.
Right.
That's the only thing. But he really thought somebody was breaking in. He called the police, but you can't just start shooting, man, unless your life is in danger or someone else has a gun or something that can escalate the issue to another level.
Mhm.
You can't just escalate it yourself and think there's going to be no consequences.
Yep. So, for our audience, we want to know, what are your thoughts? Should pranks like this be taken more seriously? And should there be a
Yeah,
better
guarded up.
education about the risks
Hmm.
of these pranks? Let us know your opinions in the comment section.
Yeah, man, it's a tough situation. Um, you know, and the race of this situation is going to come up. I hope it's not like in the Carmelo Anthony case, where the
Mhm.
race becomes more overpowering than the actual story. The story is that these kids were playing around,
Right.
and this gentleman thought that a real threat was happening. What is the line that shouldn't be crossed when it comes to these pranks? That's the same thing.
Mhm.
That's the main thing. Let's look what Mark R is saying over there. Liberal tears, bottoms up Democrats, pussies. Wow. This is the type shit y'all be on. Y'all need to grow up, man. The Republican Party really needs to grow up, man. Y'all whole life, your whole existence is to make liberals cry. That's some evil stuff, man. You people need to look in the mirror, man, because I really don't understand your problems. So let's go into the next segment with its contrasts and controversies in Habari Weekly. Um, we're going to delve into stories shaping our world, like always. Let's talk about it, though.
Yeah, in this segment, we're going to explore recent decisions and statements from the Trump's administration
Mhm.
that have sparked widespread discussion and some concerns.
Yeah, man. We had a person talk about it earlier in the chat.
Mhm.
Trump administration is letting white South African refugees. They're being granted entry amid a broader suspension.
Mhm.
The Trump administration is set to welcome 54 white South Afrikaners, they call themselves, as refugees next week, citing claims of racial discrimination against them in South Africa. This decision comes despite a broader suspension of U.S. refugee programs, which has left 100,000 refugees, many from conflict zones like Afghanistan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, stranded.
Yep. And, the South African government has strongly denied these allegations, asserting that Afrikaners remain among the most privileged group and decrying the move as politically motivated.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to see the people who own, I think they said 80%
Of the
of
land,
the wealth in South Africa goes to this little small 8% of the country. They own 80
8%
80% of the
of the
wealth.
country owns 80%
Yeah, they
of the
own
wealth
all the farms. They came, they colonized South Africa, took it over,
and make
killed
all
all
the
the South
money,
Africans, and now they're
hold all the
crying,
wealth.
talking about
We're being discriminated
being
against.
discriminated. Yeah, you took all the money, you took everything. Yeah, it's a problem. So I don't understand what you think this is going to happen. You think that South Africans are going to sit around forever while you take all the money? It's not the way it's going to help work, man. It's ridiculous. And the leaders in South Africa are putting things in place to make it fairer when it comes to the farms that they took.
Mhm.
They shouldn't be allowed to keep things that they took and colonized. It's crazy. So what you're about to see is a powerful and unsettling moment. A mother being arrested by ICE while her children is forcibly held down. The footage highlights the human cost of immigration, enforcement, and the trauma inflicted on families, particularly children, during these encounters. Let's go ahead and run that clip, bro. I think it's Ice One. You can take this out of the comment thing too, overlay. Damn, why can't I hear it? Hello.
Oh, they're taking her baby or something.
It was a person recording.
Yeah, man. This is a tough situation, man. We got the overlay still on. We got kids screaming and hollering. I remember Obama, he got a lot of people out, but some reason I don't remember this happening.
I don't
I
think
don't
I ever
remember.
saw any videos
No,
of this
none of this, none
happening
of this
under
stuff,
Obama.
none of this stuff. And do you think that the Republicans would have let them get away with it if it was happening? Hell
Hell
no,
no,
they
they
would have been
wouldn't.
all over it, all over it. This is just a mess. What's going on, man? And he probably still ain't gonna hit the numbers Obama did.
Nope.
Just it's disgraceful that he has to treat people this way, man. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Treat people with some dignity. So I mean, the main things we've been seeing some disparities in asylum decisions. He's letting South Africans come, no problem, but this is the way he's treating the immigrants that's already in America. But not so this is ridiculous. While the administration facilitates the entry of white South African refugees, black and brown asylum seekers, particularly from Latin America and Africa, continue to face significant barriers. For instance, a Venezuelan man, despite being approved for entry, was detained and deported based on unfounded gang affiliations.
I mean, this is raising critical questions about the role of race in U.S. immigration policies.
Mm-hmm.
If the U.S. is committed to being a haven for those fleeing persecution, that commitment must be applied equitably,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the color of their skin.
Yep.
If you're going to allow white South Africaners to come into the country because they're being discriminated against, they're fleeing persecution, why not let the black and brown people coming from Africa and South Africa, the Latin countries,
Mm-hmm.
do the same thing?
Because I mean, he said it. He said it. He said it clearly. He doesn't want people from these shithole countries.
Yep.
He said it out loud. Why can't we get more people from Norway? Why can't we get more people from white countries? He said it out loud. He's not trying to hide it. Johnny Boy, he says simple. Show that comment, please. Simple rule: don't break any laws, and you won't get any repercussions. That's a lie, brother. That's 100% lie. 100%. Most of these people that he's arresting haven't committed crimes. Most of these people, they are saying the crime is that they are even here, even though that is not a misdemeanor or a felony. That is not a something that you should be arresting and putting people in Venezuelan jails and prisons just because they're here. You give them a day in court. If they can't meet the asylum needs, or they don't meet it, then they get sent back. That's why we set up asylum for people. We can hear the stories. They have their day in court. We're not even giving them that, and that's insane. Mark R, you have problems, bro. Zelensky, man, yeah, you got problems, bro. I don't even know what to say about you. I don't know what to. You got problems, bro. I don't even want to show your comments. It's so stupid. Oh man.
Johnny Boy said, "There you go. Here comes the racism again."
Man, nobody said anything about racism. I'm saying what's really going on. People are being detained that did not commit any crimes. People are being removed and sent to El Salvador that have not been proven to be in these gangs.
Why did this professional victim channel pop up on my feed?
Nobody's acting like a victim. Man, I swear, dude, the right has a list of sentences that they are told to say, and they for real just stick
They say
to
them every day.
Dog, they are, every one of them say the same shit every time. Or victims. But y'all the ones that's always complaining about the racism from black people. I see you people on there talking about how it's so hard to be white, and especially a white man. Y'all are the victims today. You sitting out, we don't want to hear your fucking bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. Go on, get off. For real, man, I hate y'all. I get so sick of them saying the same sentences every time. We are talking about what's going on in this fucking world. We supposed to ignore everything. We see what's going on. Oh, the white South Afrikaners, they can come here, but anybody else, no, we don't want them. We can talk about that bullshit. Goodness, man. Get on my nerves, dude. They are illegal. That's a crime. No, being illegal is not a crime. Do y'all read the same book? Do y'all read? Y'all say y'all about the Constitution. Have y'all read it? Have you ever read anything of it? I'm not gonna sit there and act like I'm an expert in the Constitution, but god damn, I know that everybody gets due process, regardless if you are a citizen or not. Just being illegal does not give you the right to kick the person out of the country. Mark R, you said too much dumb shit for me to even read any of your comments, bro. Come with some high intellect shit than the shit you be coming with. So
And they like to say that immigrants don't have a right to due process. But under the Constitution,
right,
it specifically
states
due process is a fundamental right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, which protects individuals from unfair government actions and ensures fairness in legal proceedings. It is enshrined in both the Fifth and the 14th Amendments,
That's real.
limiting the federal and state government's ability to deprive individuals the of life, liberty, and the property without following fair procedures. Individuals. That does not say only U.S. citizens. It says individuals. That means all individuals on U.S. soil have a right to due process.
That's real.
As enshrined by the 5th and the 14th Amendments.
That's real. So Johnny Boy, he says we are the victims. How I imagine we have the same attitude you are showing us. You act like no white man ever fought against slave. No, I'm that's just ridiculous. I have no problem against anyone. People are coming onto my page calling me a victim, calling me that I'm crying racism. These are the people I'm talking to. The people who look at me as a person who is fighting for all people, fighting for the rights of everybody, make sure everyone gets a fair trial, everybody gets a fair shake in this life. That's what I'm fighting for. That's what I come online for, to make sure that the people who are getting left out don't have to see that tomorrow. A lot of people that were white fought for slavery. A lot of people that was white fought against segregation. But there were a lot of them that fought for it. So the people that come on my feed and they come on with racism, I'm going to talk to them as a racist because that's what you just came on here with. The people that don't, they get treated like normal people. But when you lead with racism,
that's what you get hit back with.
What you think? You're going to get flowers and roses from a dude? And you just led with racism? Obama, Diddy, oh my God. Mark R, you have issues, bro. For real. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you got issues.
I think Mark R is a bot.
I don't know what's wrong with that dude, but he got issues. We're not reading any of your comments, man. Learn how to spell.
Johnny Boy, I agree. We should all be treated the same.
Definitely. But that's an issue in America. You know, the Constitution said is that it's going to be about fairness, that all men are created equal,
Mm-hmm.
that all people have the rights to due process. But we have a party right now who's doing everything and saying everything that people don't get that right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem. So let's talk a little bit about Trump tariffs. He's getting into it with Mattel, but for some reason, this dude thinks Mattel is a country. I don't know what's wrong with this dude. Trump threatens 100% tariffs on Mattel.
Oh goodness.
In a recent development, President Trump threatened to impose 100% tariff on toy manufacturer Mattel, criticizing the company for its overseas production. He mistakenly referred to Mattel as a country during his remarks. Let's go ahead and play that clip.
I'm not so sure. They also said they're the only country I've heard. They said, well, we're going to go counter. We're going to try going someplace else. That's okay. Let him go, and we'll put 100% tariff on his toys, and he won't sell one toy in the United States, and that's their biggest market. I heard that. I mean, I watched this guy talking about how I'm going to go counter. I said, well, I wouldn't want to have him as an executive too long.
No, go ahead.
Whew. If you guys don't know, Mattel is known for products like Barbie and Hot Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Mattel has announced this week that they plan to raise their prices in response to Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports. So your Barbie dolls, your Hot Wheels, all things like that we typically get our kids for birthdays and Christmas and things like that, those are going to be more expensive now. Your $30 Barbie will probably be now $50.
Dog, you know, it's the Republicans say that they are the party of small business.
Mm-hmm.
They're the party of big business, but they're doing everything to hurt businesses. And when these businesses are hurt, they are going to have to fire people. When people are fired, then the small people are getting hurt. If you cared about the small people, you would go about these tariffs in a different way. Mattel is going to have to cut back on jobs,
Mm-hmm.
cut back on people that are actually working there. Kids are going to have to get less because Donald Trump decided I can do this. He is making decisions for companies, private companies, making them move their You're supposed to give these companies incentive to move their manufacturing back from all these countries, not punish them, not bully them. This is not helping. Mattel is going to have a hard time bringing their manufacturing back to America when American salaries are way more than they can pay to be able to have a product that doesn't cost $1 million for a Barbie.
Right.
They move the manufacturing to all these different countries for a reason, man. They are about their bottom line, and if their bottom
How can
line,
they make their product cheaper?
That's all they're about is about how much money they can make.
Right.
There's a certain amount of money that people are not going to buy for a Barbie. They're not going to spend
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Like, if the company itself can produce the product for a cheaper amount, that's what they're going to do in order for them to still make a profit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
What corners can they cut in order for them to still make the profits that they're making?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing for them to do is to have their manufacturing in other countries, because other countries don't have the salary requirements that Americans have.
That's real. How many people, Americans, get money and wages from? Well, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of salespeople and a lot of store people who own stores, they depend on selling these products. It's you're thinking about it as in a backwards way of manufacturing, and that's the only jobs that you're thinking about. But what about all these small businesses that sell these products? All these people on eBay that sell these products. Now they're gonna have to raise their prices, and then people aren't gonna want to buy these dolls and toys. Nobody's gonna want to spend $100 on one Barbie. So it's gonna be an issue that's gonna keep getting larger and larger. How many Americans get money and wages from Mattel? Mattel are ripping you off anyways. They get toys made for pennies. And why are you worried about their business model? I thought Republicans was about big business. What's going on? Now they supposed to, we're trying to make these people pay a certain amount of money for their manufacturing. I don't get y'all thought pattern. It's really, really insane to me. We're supposed to help businesses do well. That's the mission. If we want them to bring back manufacturing, what is the incentive for them? Just like with Apple. Instead of them being in China, they switched it to India. They cannot afford to bring manufacturing back to America. Our healthcare, our wages are way too high, and it's going to cut into their profit. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. This is what it's about. Never thought I'd see Democrats offer. Dude, cheap labor is a part of business. Who do you think is working on these farms? All these companies, they can't afford to pay everybody. Y'all are the ones that's sitting around hollering you don't want wages to go up all the time. There always going to be people on the low end of wages and then on the high end of wages. That's the way life is. And then it's always going to be companies who are going to be looking and scouring the world to try to find cheap labor. That's the way it is. Companies are, this is called capitalism. That's what it's called. Aren't y'all, do you want to go to a communist system? Is that what we're trying to do? Where we run the businesses and the government run the businesses? Is that what we're doing? We're making decisions for companies. That sound like a communistic motto to me. What is going on, man? This is not going to help anyone if businesses are hurt. No, it's not right that they took all the manufacturing over there. But wages in America and the amount of money they would have to pay because of unions, they're not going to do it. They're going to do everything to go around it. They're going to figure out every way they can. If you don't like it, then we need all these companies charging all these outlandish amounts of money for rent, for products. Those are the things that need to go down. Rent, they keep charging more and more. So we're going to fight for more and more wages. And all these other countries, man, that live in a house, $100, $200 a month. We don't have that here. You can't even get a studio for under $1,000 in Phoenix. So I mean, you gotta think, man, outside the box on these things. So let's talk about Lily Gaddis, man. She was on the Piers Morgan show. Lily Gaddis, she became big by saying the N-word online. That's all it takes to become a big in the Republican Party nowadays. Just drop a couple N-bombs and you're the man. They love you. So this is the reason why she has fame and she's on the Piers Morgan show, because she just dropped some N-bombs on online. So she sparks outrage over her racist remarks that she spoke on the Piers Morgan show. Social media influencer Lily Gaddis has come under fire for openly embracing racist views during a recent interview. She admitted to using racial slurs and defended racism against a black child with autism. It's on you.
Oh, I thought you had a video to play. My bad.
Why would you want to support a white
We do.
racist?
Go ahead and play the video, I guess.
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in a country.
Yeah, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
I do, quite frankly.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you? Are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
So Johnny Boy, that's her saying she's dirty.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
Speech.
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
You know,
he's right.
The second person, I forget his name, the guy with the beard, he went on to agree with the racist.
Yeah, he did.
He went on to say that he was okay with her being racist against black and brown people, even though he's brown himself. This is this new era of people who are against their own.
Yep. And, this incident has sparked widespread condemnation, with many people calling for accountability and emphasizing the need for respectful discourse in our nation. I mean, it's just sad. You're an adult treating a child this way.
They're trying to take up for Shiloh Hendricks. They're running this narrative that all the white people need to come together. Watching that segment, I saw them say systemic racism against white people several times. While saying that they can say the N-word anytime they want to, while also saying that America is their country. Which and then the guy with the beard, he went on to say that I don't know why I can't remember his name, but he went on to say that that white people are sick of it, that they're over it, that Black Lives Matter was stuffed down their throat, and all of this stuff with black people, they're over it. So this is insane, man. What we're going through right now, man. This resurgence of racism, this resurgence of people like Mark R coming on here just saying just ignorant stuff, man. These people are disgusting. The word despicable is never enough for these type people, man. They think that racism and hating other people is okay because it's their country, and they hate black people. And
they think it's their country.
Man, this ain't your country.
It's not your country.
How the fuck
you
is it your country?
Stole it from other people that were already here.
When you got here, people was already here. How the fuck is it yours? The fuck up, man. I get so tired of them with this bullshit, man. Talking about our country and go back to your country, and we don't want brown people here. Man, dude, they are disgusting people, man. And this girl go on here and talk about how she's openly racist and drop the N-word anytime she want to.
Rodney Kelly, you're wrong. Europeans did not build this country.
Man, Europeans watched as other people built it. They watched as other people built it. They murdered the people who did originally build it. That's all they did. They took, they murdered, they colonized.
Just like they did South Africa. Colonized.
That's taking. That's violence. That's murder. And we went and murdered a whole bunch of people and took a neighborhood, which y'all say, oh, that was awesome what they did. No, you would call us murderers. So that's what we call the European historians who came here and took and murdered.
Yep.
They're murderers. They were piece of shit people, just like Christopher Columbus.
Yep.
Came here, murdered all the natives. People invited you in and you killed them, stabbed them in their backs. Fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? There's African countries are beautiful. So I'm trying to, you don't know. Most African countries are very nice. There are some ones that are some shitholes, just like in America, but most of them are pretty nice, man. So saying that the Africans who have built the pyramids, Africans who have built so many things throughout history, Africans who built so many civilizations, you want to talk about what they didn't do. Let's talk about how the war and torn, how white people are blowing each other up across the fucking planet right now. How all the wars are started by white people. How we had to have a fucking war because they didn't want to give up their slaves and get off their lazy ass and do a job. Like, you can't come on here with racism and think there's not going to be consequences for it. You are the one that came here and stole from other people. You can't point at somebody else and tell them that they're no one when you would have done nothing but steal and take. Brother, I hate to tell you, but the Zulu King and the Zulu Nation and other African tribes, dog, you're not telling me anything, Mr. James Brock. We all know this. Everyone knows this. But colonization and taking does not mean that is okay because us other African tribes sold some slaves. So it's okay to colonize and kill everybody because some nations took over. Slavery was normal to those tribes back then. It doesn't matter if they sold your ass into slavery. Did you have to buy it? Did you have to keep the people in bondage for 400 years after that? Did you have to come up with the rule? Because at first there was no rule that people were born into slavery until that was born and created in America. Most people, they would do their indentured slavery and they would be going on with their life. Their kids would not be born into slavery, but that is what America created. These excuses that they try to use to try to say that it's okay because somebody else did slavery is the most bullshit excuse I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't excuse you from doing evil because somebody else did it. You're still evil just like them. African nations have came out and they have apologized, some of them, for the things that happened back then. But America still hasn't. America hasn't gave up reparations. America didn't give the 40 acres and a mule. America hasn't gave black people a single thing without us taking it. Nothing. We have to fight for every step that we've taken. Period. Now let's go into Senator Murphy confronts DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. Senator Chris Murphy recently confronted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, accusing her department of being out of control and ignoring Supreme Court orders. Let's go ahead and run that clip, man.
I assume you have read the Supreme Court decision in the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Yes.
That court decision requires the administration to facilitate Kilmar Abrego Garcia's release from El Salvador. Can you describe the steps that you have taken to facilitate this release? And specifically, can you answer as to whether you have reached out to your counterpart in El Salvador to facilitate Mr. Abrego Garcia's release?
Abrego Garcia is a citizen of El Salvador and should never have been in this country and will not be coming back to this country. There is no scenario where Abrego Garcia will be in the United States again. If he were to come back, we would immediately deport him again because he is a terrorist, he's a human smuggler, and he is a wife beater.
You've read the Supreme Court decision. Does the Supreme Court decision not require you to facilitate the return of Mr. Abrego Garcia?
The Trump administration is complying with all court orders and judges' orders.
Does the Supreme Court order require you to facilitate the return of Mr. Abrego Garcia?
Is a citizen of El Salvador. It is up to the president of the El Salvador to make the decision.
You're a defendant
on
in
if
the
he
case.
is coming back. It's been a big topic of conversation between all of us, between the country. When the president visited the United States of America, it was discussed and talked about there. The president has been very clear on this issue, as the Secretary of State and I have as well. Abrego Garcia is not a citizen of this country and is a dangerous individual who does not belong here.
I will not ask another question, Madam Chair.
But the discussion, we would immediately.
But the discussion ends when the Supreme Court rules 9-0 that you have to facilitate his release, and the fact that you can't even acknowledge the wording of the order, which commands you to facilitate his release, and you advertise to this committee that you are going to willfully ignore the ruling. And that is incredibly chilling for the balance of powers in a democracy that relies on the executive branch to honor decisions made by the highest court of the land.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. What we have with this crazy lady in charge, she's not listening to anyone.
She did not answer the question.
She didn't answer any questions. And then as we go through things and we see that they've spent more money than their budget already. They've already blown out their budget for the year. They're going to keep spending money. They've ran out of money already with all this stupid shit that they're doing, shipping people around, All these airplanes that they're flying people in and out, that shit costs big, big money.
And they're using our taxpayer dollars to do
Oh
it.
yeah, man, and they done already fucked it up. All the money for deporting people for the year is gone. These people do not know how to do anything. They're incompetent.
Now
They have a budget and they're fucking it up.
Now they're gonna say, "Oh, we'll give you $1,000 if you
Yeah,
self-deport."
they trying to get people to self-deport because they don't have the money to even keep deporting the way they've been doing it. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Dude, he's probably never gonna come back because this administration is gonna do everything they can to block it.
Yeah.
And that piece of shit down in Venezuela or whatever, El Salvador, he's a piece of shit and he's not gonna do anything. I would have liked to see the man get his day in court. If he's a criminal, if he's a gang member, let's prove that. Not just going off the comments of Donald Trump and the rest of his flunkies and all you people who follow him. Now, there's a guy who said that the Irish built more than the black people. Man, if you don't get your ass out of here, man, we built this country. We were the people that were working while everybody else was sitting around. Irish people came here and most of them immediately became white.
Yep.
They were indentured servants. They were never put in a position of slavery where their kids were born into slavery.
Biden was not flying them in, so
And,
you can go ahead
and
just
most
get
of
rid
them,
that
Irish
thought.
didn't come here into the 1800s.
Yep.
And Biden, you know, he was letting people come in to he should have did more. But you can't shut down the border and not give people a chance to apply for asylum, which Trump is doing right now, which is illegal. You can't do that. That's illegal. People should have the opportunity to file for asylum. Diddy did a good enough job of keeping things under control. No, he didn't. It was out of control for a little while. Some of the people that was coming, he waited too long to put things in place. But also, Trump got his bills voted down that he was trying to put through Congress and the Senate because he wanted to run on immigration. Now, I can't say that Biden did wait too long, but at the same time, things were trying to go through and the Republicans blocking it.
Because Trump said block it.
Because Trump said block it. So it isn't a big enough problem that y'all gonna let it keep going. You're not gonna shut it down. You're gonna let it keep going, but it's such a problem that you're just gonna ignore it for a couple more months until Trump get in the office for he can get a win
and get the credit.
Obviously not a big problem. Right. But they made you motherfuckers believe this shit. Y'all 100% with it. Go ahead.
I mean, you know, this exchange did highlight concerns over the department's adherence to legal protocols and the potential implications of civil liberties. You're not giving people their due process. You're fucking up their civil rights and things that they have a right to. If someone was doing this to you, you would be crying the same thing. Let me get my due process.
That's right.
Let me go before the judge and explain my story.
Anyone would do that.
But
anyone.
When it comes to black and brown people, y'all are just like, no, they don't deserve it.
It's terrible. So let's go into some of Trump's economic claims, which is under scrutiny right now because his economic policies right now are underwater. Most Americans disagree with what he is doing with the economy right now.
Yep.
Most Americans, the polling is horrible. He is folding and flopping.
He's got a 41% approval rating.
Approval rating is trash. Now, you know, in a recent statement, President Trump claimed that the good parts are the Trump economy and the bad parts are the Biden economy. Are you fucking kidding me? Despite him being the current person in charge, he's still blaming Biden, Obama, Hillary, Clinton, whoever he can fucking blame to not take responsibility for anything.
But in a recent interview, he also said that the trade deals that were put in place were garbage. Without remembering that he was the one that put those trade deals in place.
He was the one that put the shit in place.
It's crazy. These remarks have drawn criticism for its lack of accountability and has been widely discussed in political circles and also media outlets.
Let's go ahead and play the clip.
Yeah, the transition, sir. You frequently took credit for the stock market highs. You said it was a reflection of how well you were doing in the polls, and then after you were elected, you said the stock market highs were a reflection of how well the
And y'all can
transition is
stop with
going
the
and
Irish
the
thing so
American
much,
people's
man. It's a
confidence
lie.
in
Stop.
your incoming administration. Now, the stock market's not doing so well, and you're saying that's the Biden stock market, yet you are the president. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm not taking credit or discredit for the stock market. I'm just saying that we inherited a mess, both at the borders. You could look at every single one of the people here, and no matter who it is, they're doing better, and they are far superior to what took place for 4 years before us. When you look at prisoners being allowed to come into our country at will, just
doesn't matter
at
about
will.
4 years before. You are the
People from
president
mental
now. It
institutions,
is
gang members,
your
drug
job.
dealers. When you look at that, what they've done to
You're
our
the one that
country,
takes
and
accountability.
also having to do with finance. Look at what happened with inflation. We had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country.
Well, we got the worst inflation right now, still
Under you, Trump.
under you. Under you, the inflation is horrible. The prices of all products are going up. Now they all talking about you mad and you crying, all liberal tears. But for 4 years, we listened to these people blame Biden for every single thing, no matter if it was because of COVID, no matter if it was because of bird flu. It didn't matter what the situation is. It was Biden's fault. Now all of a sudden, when
It's
it's
Biden's
Trump's
fault.
in charge, it's Biden's fault still. And then we're not supposed to say anything about it after listening to these people cry and say fuck Joe Biden every single day of their lives. But now that Trump is in charge, we're just supposed to ignore all that and, just act like it was all good when Trump's in here and he's in there fucking everything up. Like, what? I just do not get it, man. I will never understand, man.
No, Just Decode, you are blind.
Nah,
If
y'all
you are
blind, man.
okay with everything that this administration is doing.
So next, let's play the clip of a reporter confronting him about his. Playing that clip of him blaming Biden was just crazy, man. Is that one coming up, or did we already play the Biden blame?
I think that's the one we just
Oh,
played.
that's right. So we see that he can never take responsibility for anything. If it's bad, it's Biden. If it's good, it's him. But right now, not much is good about our economy. So it's nothing to really give him kudos for, because he's doing nothing but hurting the economy right now.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Let's play this video of Jasmine Crockett talking about Trump and his desire to want to be the
I
Pope.
rise today with a
that.
simple but clear message. First of all, I just got to clear up a few things. Instead of the president cosplaying as the next pope, he may want to try to cosplay as an actual president of these United States. That means that he may have to do a little bit of research and decide that he wants to understand that he swore an oath. And this oath was to protect and defend the Constitution. That is the oath that he was supposedly taking on January 20th, as well as we may want the president to look into what the Declaration of Independence was about. We may want him to
The stock market is
understand
still
that that
horrible,
was
Johnny
a
boy. What are you talking
foundational
about?
document as relates to self-determination of those who had recently gained their independence from Great Britain. I would hope that he would maybe spend a few of these days in this first 100 days, and it is sad to say that it's his second term, that he doesn't understand that the Declaration of Independence is about this idea that we are entitled to the right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's all of us that are here. But let's go through some of.
All right. So, and the things she's talking about is just, Trump has been just doing everything he can to hurt every division, every part of the government, from the judges to the senators and the Congress. They're saying nothing. They're just letting this man be a king. So, and he's ignoring the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution. He's ignoring it all. But we have seen a lot of things. The ports have been getting less shipments coming in, a lot of less shipments coming in. And California said 50% drop in the amount of shipments that came into their ports. Now, a reporter asked Trump about this, and this was his answer. Go ahead and play that clip.
Because business has slowed down, as you mentioned, we're seeing as a result, the ports here in the U.S., the traffic has really slowed, and now thousands of dock workers and truck drivers are worried about their jobs.
That means we lose less money. You know, when I see that, that means we lose less money. Look, China was making over $1 trillion, 1.1 trillion, in my opinion. You know, different numbers from 500 billion to $1 trillion or $1 trillion. I think it was 1.1 trillion. And frankly, if we didn't do business, we would have been better off. Okay, you understand that. So when you say it slowed down, that's a good thing, not a bad thing.
That is the most asinine shit I've ever heard in my life. If it slows down, that means we're losing less money. That means we're making less money too, you idiot. That means people are making less. The truckers are making less. That's not a good thing. Here goes Johnny Boy. Again, we have Democrats defending the elite who lose out on. Dog, my 401k is on the market. You understand that? My 401k, because of Republicans, because of Ronald fucking Reagan, I don't get to get a fucking what do they call that when you I don't even get it. I don't even remember right now. But we have to do not just a normal retirement like it used to be.
A pension.
Yeah, your normal pension retirement. That's gone. We're all dependent on fucking 401k. Yep. And this was a Republican idea. And then he comes in and destroys the fucking market. Destroys the market, destroys everything, and people are sitting around, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just the elites. Man, get out of here, man. And y'all can't use that anymore. The elites is the Republicans. Donald Trump has gold toilets. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. Stop talking about the elites when you guys are with the elites, and y'all put the elites in power. Mm-hmm. Y'all put them in charge. Always talking about George Soros, but then okay with Elon Musk. You people are weird. If you don't like the elites, why the fuck y'all put them in power?
Right. Every time.
It's so weird, man. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and do the comic books and do the sports real fast so we can get it moving today. Run comic book corner for me.
Comic Book Corner. Sponsored by.
I'm a sponsor. Email us at info@Habari Entertainment. We'll create a package just for you. So this week, man, we were excited to go and see the Thunderbolts. I think it lived up to the hype. I mean, it wasn't. I can't say it was the greatest film in the world, but I thought it was. I give it a good 7 out of 10, man. The Thunderbolts. I think it held up to the hype a little bit. Here's the script. And here's us talking about it. I don't know why. Us talking about it, spoiler free. Review of the Thunderbolts and what we thought about the movie. Number one. Let me see, man, my thing. Welcome back, and wow. I don't know why I did that.
Because that's how you have it. I just copy and paste it.
Well, you should delete one. But anyway, this cinematic universal installment of Thunderbolts, I caught the film this weekend. And like I said, I would rate it a solid 7 out of 10. Let's dive into what makes this movie a noteworthy addition to the MCU. First off, Thunderbolts brings together a unique ensemble of characters, many of whom we've seen in previous MCU entries. Florence Pugh shines as Yelena Belova, delivering a performance that's both fierce and emotionally resonant. Resonates. Her portrayal adds depth to the team dynamics and provides a compelling anchor for the narrative. I really thought she did a good job, man. I really liked. She was pretty much the star of the movie, and I thought that her going through tough times and trying to find herself was a good way to point the film. The film introduces the Sentry. He also was going through some struggles. It's portrayed by Lewis Pullman, a character with immense power and a complex psyche. While I wish for more screen time to explore his backstory, the depiction of his alter ego, the Void, was genuinely terrifying and added a layer of psychological tension to the plot. I really like that part. And Sebastian Stan, he returns as Bucky Barnes, who now holds a political position. While his transition into politics is intriguing development, an intriguing development, I felt the film could have delved deeper into the motivations and the challenges he faced in this new role. It felt like he was just a politician, and they never really talked about how he became a politician, why he became a politician, how many votes, how many people voted for him, what, you know what I mean, like what was his consistency like. This it's like things that they didn't really talk about.
I agree. This week, one of the most standout aspects of the Thunderbolts for me was its exploration of themes like remediation, identity, and the gray areas of heroism.
Mm-hmm.
The team's dynamics are complex, reflecting their diverse backgrounds and personal struggles, which adds a refreshing depth to the superhero genre.
Mm-hmm.
Moving beyond the traditional good versus evil narrative, the action sequences were well executed with choreography that highlighted each character's unique abilities.
Mm-hmm.
The film balanced its intense action moments of introspection, allowing the audience to connect with the characters on a deeper level.
Without giving away any spoilers, I must mention that the post-credit scene is a game changer. It set the stage for the future developments in the MCU and leaves me eagerly anticipating what's next. In conclusion, Thunderbolts offers a compelling blend of action, character development, and thematic depth. While there are areas where I wish more exploration, particularly regarding Bucky's political journeys and the Sentry's background story, the film succeeds in delivering an engaging and thought provoking experience. I really liked it. And like I said, give it a 7 out of 10. That's
Yeah.
all for this week's Comic Book Corner. And if you've seen Thunderbolts, I'd love to hear from your thoughts. Reach out to us on social media channels or drop us an email. Until next time, keep enjoying the world of comics and cinema. Yeah. And we got Ironheart coming up on Disney Plus on June 24th in the UK and the 25th in here. That's 3 years on from Riri's debut in Black
No,
Panther.
America will get Ironheart on June 24th, and the UK will get it on June
Oh,
25th.
okay, I got it backwards. But yeah, that's 3 years on from her debut in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which arrived in 2022. So that's pretty dope, man. That we would get that coming soon. I know a lot of people are hating on it, but you know that's the usual when you got a black character, which is ridiculous. But anyway, let's get into this NBA update, man. We saw the Nuggets last night beat the Timberwolves, and we're going to talk about your go-to segment for the latest in the NBA playoffs. I'm your host, bringing you the most electrifying moments, standout performances, and upcoming matches. So let's go into the NBA playoffs, man. We got the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Knicks and Boston. I think they're playing later on today in New York. The Knicks lead the series 2-0. The Knicks have came back after 2 games where they were down 20 points and was able to come back and win the game. And Boston is floundering right now, looking at a 3-0 a 3-0 losing lead. So the Knicks have taken a commanding 2-0 lead over the Boston Celtics, winning both games on the road. In game one, the Knicks overcame a 20-point deficit with Mikal Bridges making a crucial steal from Jaylen Brown in the final minutes. In game two, saw another comeback with Bridges blocking Jason Tatum this time, potential game-winning shot. Despite shooting struggles, Bridges' defensive prowess has been instrumental. Jason Tatum has acknowledged his subpar performance and shooting just 28.6% from the field and 25% from the three-point range in this series. Historically, teams losing the first 2 games at home have only come back to win the series 5 times in 28 attempts. Now, some other upcoming games. Today we have, like I said, Cleveland and the Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. They lead the series 2-1. The Indiana Pacers took a 2-0 lead, but the Cavaliers bounced back in Game 3 with a dominant 126-104 victory. Donovan Mitchell led the charge with 43 points, while the Cavs defense held the Pacers to just 104 points. Another upcoming game, we have what is going to be Denver. Denver last night, like I said, they were able to beat OKC. So they take a 2-1 lead in that series. The Thunder and Nuggets, they did split the first two games in OKC, but the first game in Denver, the Nuggets was able to take it in overtime. The Nuggets have been tough with the Thunder, man, and the Thunders, they looking like they were a little overrated, man. It's that second game, the OKC beat them pretty bad, 149 by a lot of points. But I just don't know, man. I really think Denver has a real shot in this series, and they may take it, man. If they win the next game, I think it's going to be over. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves versus Golden State. The series is tied 1-1. The Warriors took game 1 with contributions from Jimmy Butler, Buddy Hield. However, the Timberwolves responded in game 2 with a 24-point blowout lead by Julius Randle's 24 points and 11 assists. Anthony Edwards added 20 points in the win. They do got Curry hurt right now, so man, it's tough, man. We don't know what really is going on, if he's going to be able to make it back. Without Curry, they're not going to win. The Timberwolves will be moving on. So let us know what you guys think about the playoffs so far and what's been going on. We really appreciate everybody. Now, we're going to do a quick outro. Let's go ahead and wrap up today's Habari segment on sports. The NBA playoffs are heating up, and we'll be here to bring you all the highlights and analysis. Stay tuned. We'll keep you going updated on that. So we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. It's going to be our outro for the day. The segment wrap up. We already played that.
It's been a busy week,
Yeah.
but for former President Donald Trump has officially appointed Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as the top federal prosecutor in Washington, D.C., which is a highly controversial move that is raising all kinds of red flags about political loyalty in the justice system.
It's just disgusting.
A Fox News host is now D.C.'s federal prosecutor.
And this is the woman that rose to fame by putting OJ in jail for stealing his own memorabilia. That's her claim to fame, because she's from Las Vegas. It's pretty ridiculous, man. He keeps putting these Fox News hosts and MTV reality TV people in charge, man. The guy, the Duffy guy from MTV, is just killing the aviation. Twice the radars went out in Newark. What is going on, man? And over at the U.S. Postal Service, FedEx board member David Steiner is set to become the Postmaster General. With private industry ties this deep, many are wondering what this means for public mail delivery. It's over.
Yep.
And whether we're seeing more private, that's what they're trying to do. They want us to pay for our fucking mail. They've been trying to do it forever. Go ahead.
Meanwhile, Trump is floating a surprising idea, raising taxes on the rich. But let's go ahead and be clear. It's supposedly to fund his massive tax cuts elsewhere, including cuts to social programs and federal spending. So we'll be watching that very closely to see what he does and how, and if he does end up cutting taxes for the wealthy.
So he also fired several Democratic appointed commissioners from the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the one place that we get some help first as a consumer. In America, the consumer is bent over. We get nothing. If you buy a product and you no one helps you. But the Consumer Product Safety Commission is one of them, and he's been doing everything to dismantle this place. This could have major impacts on how consumer protections are enforced, especially in vulnerable communities.
Yep.
It's just disgusting, man.
And let's not forget that behind the scenes, Jared Kushner is back. He's been quietly advising the administration ahead of Trump's upcoming Middle East trip, raising new questions about ethics, influence, and family ties in foreign policy.
Oh man, it's just, dude, it's a lot with Trump now. It's so much to cover. We used to be an hour show. Now we up to 2 hours to talk about this shit. It's a lot, man. But like always, we'll keep our eyes on the truth no matter how deep it hides.
Yep. And to leave you with something real, a reminder from the great Ella Baker, civil rights legend and organizer. Strong people don't need strong leaders, because the power is always with the people.
That's real. Power to the people, like always. That's it from us, man. Stay sharp, stay strong, and as always,
Peace to Habari
peace to the Habari Nation.
Thanks for watching another episode of Habari Live. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on news, the podcast, and more. Follow us on Facebook.